Thank you so much, Laura, and welcome to the LEC post-game lobby. I'm Sjokz, joined by Yamato and Jankos.
Hello.
There we go. Excited because, you know, it's been a long weekend, but an interesting one at that, and a very hyped last game, I have to say. Jankos, how good do you think you did as a team in this game?
Well, I think that we were playing overall more respectful and more reserved than we usually do. And I think we threw a lot when we had our leads, and we took the game very slow. So there are for sure a lot of improvements to be made, especially me and Wunder inting on the weak side. But it was a pretty decent game.
How much mental warfare was there had? I know there was, you know, you in Match of the Week saying they should be scared of us, and that a couple of tweets from G2 Esports and from you guys as well. I also heard that you told them not to turn off the in-game chat. So how much mental warfare was going on?
Well, in our heads, we could never lose to OG. And I think that even this game, we expect ourselves to probably play even better and like stomp them more, if that makes sense. But the game was actually pretty even and pretty long, so I have to give that to them. But still, I mean, we love to trash talk and we love to like call out other teams. So mental warfare is always fun, yeah.
Yeah, it is. We kind of have built you up to be these competitors because obviously you were both undefeated and Origin was playing very, very well. But do you buy into that narrative yourself, or do you have your sights on other teams that you think could pose a threat to you than OG?
I mean, I think that OG is still overrated, even though they did beat Fnatic in the first game of the split. I feel like Fnatic is probably the second team in Europe currently. I would be more, well, maybe not scared, but I would look forward to play them more next week, for example, because I think we'll obviously easily beat them, no problem there. But it could be even tougher than OG is. And then Rogue is probably like a top 4 material, whereas I would still put them as the 4th seed. And they still have to prove themselves, but they're also clearly top 4, except for like all the other teams that are just like kind of bad.
Yeah, Yamato?
Do you agree with the notion? Because I always had this idea of Origin just getting carried by their draft. Even in the Fnatic game, there was the Swain pick. You guys banned Gragas today. Is that the kind of the knife you have to stick into them?
I mean, I think that the Gragas overall works for pretty much every team right now. As we all know, jungle is useless role. You know, it doesn't really impact the lanes or anything. So what you do is you pick Gragas and you bring the CC to the team, and then you also have Predator, which Wunder really hates because he cannot not overextend. So I appreciate if Wunder would learn how to play against Predator, but up until then, we will probably be forced to think about Gragas, yes.
At what point in this draft did you realize that you were heavily outdrafting them? Because that was what was echoed on the desk here.
I mean, probably after 3 first bans, we knew it's over. I mean, it's hard to say, right? I feel like we had a really good idea about picking Lee Sin LeBlanc. For some reason, they banned the Lees, which I don't necessarily agree with. And then, you know, obviously, first picking Senna. Senna is such a broken champion. And not banning Thresh for 5. I think there's like some mistakes that they have done. And I feel like all the other teams that played them so far gave them their comfort picks. And, you know, OG was left unpunished. And even in that game, I felt like they played them up pretty well, right? They didn't get called when they shouldn't have, and they knew how to rotate, and they, you know, punished me and Wunder when we were inting. So I still feel like their play is like kind of solid, but most of the time their drafts were, they were getting away with too much.
I think I have to echo the sentiment. Like, we were screaming no when they picked Rumble, because I thought this was one of the picks. And Rek'Sai.
But there was nothing else left, actually.
Oh, I was just hoping that Xerxes had something spicy for the Lee Sin, because I feel like with these bans, the Lee Sin pick is very predictable. The Lee Sin LeBlanc rotation is so strong because I think it's just the strongest 2v2 when Syndra is out, and this was something that Nukta picked so many times. And then afterwards, when Rumble came in, I just thought Soraka, she buys Chalice so naturally. She gets MR, and the ultimate is just so strong against it. So I just felt like, you know, that moment, G2 is a team that can actually play on side and stay away from those big team fights and get leads elsewhere. And then I just thought G2 have it in the bank.
Yeah, Jankos, how happy are you with the grabs and his picks and bans so far? I know there's like more people in the team now. There's been some additions as well on the analyst side of things to help Duffman out. So how confident are you in the drafts for this split?
Yeah, about the graphs, right? It's still a hard subject, I guess. Okay. I think that so far he didn't really disappoint, right? He delivered, I would say. In no game, I felt like we have been outdrafted, except for scrims. In scrims happens a lot, but it seems like he takes the knowledge from scrims to a stage, and then, you know, if we disagree, we just like kind of step in as the players to try to make drafts actually playable for us. And I think, you know, we have like new analysts as well, and you know, she's helping Duffman, and we still do our like reviews and stuff. So I think that the team is growing. You know, we hope to stay on the top.
Oh wow, we even got a slow-mo of grabs.
Really?
Well, wow, that's cool. Yamato, you were mentioning how Jankos would probably be amused by the fact that he used to be put on Braum duty, and now Wonder gets put on Soraka duty. So how much joy does that bring you, Jankos, that someone else gets to play?
Actually, I have a message. I have a message for Riot Games.
Okay.
Please don't buff Sejuani. Just don't do it. Sejuani, at her current state, is actually a playable jungler. The thing why Sjokz was always OP was because when she stacks HP, she gets a lot of damage, and her passive was like insane. But all of this is nerfed. But then you buffed her HP, so she can rush Warmog and have a lot of damage and be like unkillable again. So if you buff her furthermore, I think she might be really OP. And I feel like she's not really friendly for the meta, so please don't do it.
I think it's already set. I saw it already, so I guess it's going through or not. I don't know.
Well,
How does that work?
maybe
you
they're
just-
like riffing it. Hopefully they will. I don't know.
Jankos just doesn't want to play Sejuani anymore. We'll see. I do want to run through a little play with you as well. As said, you guys won. Good moments. Perks carrying a lot. Caps doing well. But here at Baron, there were some question marks because this was after you peeled off. And then these two guys just go on a little adventure. Do you remember
That's
this?
the MVP of the game, actually. that guy right there, inting on the blind, that's the MVP. That's your MVP, Europe. Good job. So I think that we obviously wanted to, you know, stall them and take the Nashor for free.
Yeah.
I feel like so far the play has been like not too bad, but in the hindsight, we should have just based because they do have double TP. I mean, Rakan is up very soon. They do have TP on Sylas, so I think we made a mistake of trying to, you know, obviously fight them here also. But also, you know, Perk's kind of overstepping. Maybe without his overstep, we'll be able to like secure Nash before they get there. But you know, Nashor with Senna, Lee Sin, Soraka is really, really slow. So in the hindsight, we made a mistake of staying around, and we shall base after getting 2 kills, set up the map again, maybe even play for Drake. That will be up in the next, you know, 1:32 minutes, and just snowball the game from there. We are really lucky that Alphari got one-shot by LeBlanc on the next play. So he kind of threw the game, a lovely mid laner, but he also carried the game right after.
Yeah, because that seemed like it could have been worse than it was, but somehow you caught them out, which is good.
Yeah, I mean,
We'll
I'm
be
not
getting
sure.
yelled at, yeah.
So it was kind of weird because I didn't expect LeBlanc to do so much damage, and he probably didn't neither. And then, you know, he just got ulted, chained, and died instantly. And at that point, we kind of knew the game is probably in our hands again.
Yeah, well, congratulations. Undefeated still. As a tagline to you being on PGL, we added teamwork. Wait, what was it? Work improvement team?
Motivation.
Motivation, work improvement team. Do you know what that's in reference to?
Will you maybe help me out there?
Yes, we will. It's actually the Origin tagline is kind of.
Oh.
Yeah.
So the Origin was like the story of the week.
Well, your match versus Origin is the match of the week, so we found it appropriate. And this way we could also talk about G2's work team motivation, work improvement, and team for 2020. Wow. I thought it would be funny, and it's just not funny at all.
No, I mean it's funny, right?
Yeah.
It's not funny. I mean it's fun. It's fun, you know. It's very important to be motivated and to work.
And to be clear for all the people at home, we're not laughing at Origin. They're still
a strong team.
a fantastic team. That is. Yeah, maybe we should wrap that up because I feel like we've been obviously harping on Origin a lot because they now lost this last game, Yamato, but we can't just throw everything away now. They still have those strong drafts. They still have those strong foundation, and they should waver too much after this game.
I think if anything, you know, there was a sentiment that I had in terms of overhyped, but that means that we picture them in a way that, oh, they won every game in such a strong fashion.
Yeah.
This is like in contention clearly for first place. That type of overhype. Still a very strong team. I agree with the notion of Fnatic. I think they've looked very competitive and strong in their games. In the game against Origin, I think their draft left them with very little options. I think OG definitely is a strong team, and they remind me very similar of what they were in spring last year.
Yeah, that's a great point. Let's take a look at the standings and some other teams that might be contesting G2. When you look at the standings, Perks already talked about it a little bit, saying how, well, Fnatic is quite a strong team. Rogue is always in your mind, Jankos. Who do you think could have the biggest potential to challenge G2 in spring?
Well, I mean, definitely for now, I have to say Fnatic, because with the addition of Selfmade, I feel like they are a very strong team, very dangerous team.
What's different about them with Selfmade?
I mean, I guess Nemesis likes Selfmade more than Broxa. That's the main difference. So they probably just play together better because they communicate, maybe. Maybe they didn't talk to each other. I mean, I don't know how Fnatic works from the inside.
Yeah.
So I don't know what exactly changed in the team, but I know for a fact that Selfmade is a more aggressive jungler, and maybe that also helps Fnatic to win those games. I feel like in the first week he didn't really perform, but in the second week he has been playing very, very well. And Fnatic as a team also played so much better. So, you know, if I would see a clear top 2 in Europe, I would say probably us and Fnatic. But I also at the same time feel like Origin and Rogue are not far off, and they are very strong teams as well.
I think also just Selfmade, like my issue with Fnatic, I remember even the series against you guys, you could easily predict that they were just going to funnel all their effort into bottom, because that's the way they won games. Even at the World Championship, funnel all effort into bottom, because that's what they mastered. The 2v2 mid didn't exist, the 2v2 top didn't exist, and I think Selfmade can provide a lot of versatility that Fnatic lacked at the end of the dynamic they had last year. So I think this brings a freshness to everything, and I think they can maybe contest G2 even further.
Yeah, I mean, last summer it was really close, right? We almost lost to them 2 BO5s. It was 2-0 at some point, then we came back 3-2, then again in Athens. So I feel like if they can improve, you know, it's really exciting to have like actually a team to play against, a strong team to improve with.
It would be an exciting battle for us to watch as well. I just want to hear your opinion on Schalke 04, because they had a horrible start, and you've played together with several of those members, of course, on the team, and Forgiven and Nodawamne. What do you think is going on there, and how do you think they can fix it?
I don't know about the mental state of the team. They could be like crashing right now and burning inside. They could also be really happy and kind of hopeful for the future. Personally, I don't see them doing well anymore. There is a chance that they win some games, but I would never say that they would be contesting playoffs. And, you know, it's maybe a bit early to say as well, because it's first week and the second week. So many things can change, but it's just looking at the players and how they play right now. And, you know, I know some of them, so I just feel like it's going to be very hard for them to bounce back from where they are right now.
Yeah, pretty tricky. Before we move on, how is Jankos feeling in the spring split? You now have, again, new jungle mid duo that you're getting used to, but then you got used to it beforehand. How's that shift been for you?
I mean, I think nothing much changed, right? Caps requires different attention on the bot lane, and Perks requires different attention on the mid lane. But I played with Perks before. About Caps, I also played with him, maybe a different role, but he overall likes to be left alone and play his own game, and that's what he kind of does at the bot lane. Obviously, it's a different role, and he needs more attention than he could in the mid lane, and he can like carry games as hard. But you know, Perks can, for example, and then we can shift the carriness into Caps. So I feel like I'm just chilling, and you know, it's going well so far.
I think chilling is good in a 2020 jungle. You know, the biggest criticism I had for you guys last year at the World Championship, when I think your entire path to the finals, you didn't need to focus on 2v2 mid. And then you faced the biggest 2v2 mid team ever.
Yes, I mean, yeah, FPX was a really strong 2v2 mid duo. We did play a lot of scrims against them, so we knew what we will face, and we just didn't prepare for it enough, and we were just the worst team. So, you know, it hurts, but
sorry for bringing
clearly,
it up.
clearly FPX was the better team. Yes.
I'm so sorry.
We've never heard you say it. Now it's out there. Now we never have to mention it again.
And Tian was the better listen, and he was really insane and like, but it's okay. I got over it.
Yamato, I hope you're proud of yourself. He might be tilted into
I'm just
oblivion.
hurting Jankos. I didn't put him as first jungler as well. I wish I could change it now, yeah? I'm sorry.
Fine.
I'm sorry.
Fine. I think that this year, you know, obviously our team will work in a different way, and let's say our lane swap doesn't work, then worst case, what happens is that after spring split, we just shift back, Perks goes bot lane, Caps goes mid lane, you know, but I just don't think it's possible. I feel like both of them are so talented that they can perform on any role, and, you know, so far, it's only 2 weeks again, but looking at scrims and when we started playing scrims, it just seems like the improvement is like, you know, a very big improvement, and we are winning games, you know. And the next week is a big test. We face Fnatic and OG. Fnatic and Rogue, and we should be easily able to beat them. But yeah.
And then you would be 6-0, which is then
yeah. And then we're chilling again, right? Because then, like, if we did beat OG, Fnatic Rogue, then
What else
then we're
is there?
chilling, you know, for a couple of weeks.
And there's nothing else. Something else that is very important is that everyone at home can vote on the Kia player of the game at LEC on Twitter. And this is the leaderboard. Perks is in first place, followed by Finn, Alfari, Patrick, and Reckless. And just for your information, in case of a tie, the player with the highest percentage of votes will come out on top. So that is the case right here. Deserved?
Yeah, I mean, looking at all these players, they are very talented, obviously, and very skilled. I mean, I don't know how Patrick got there, but like, no flame. Just I didn't see the Excel game that they won
Against Schalke.
against Schalke.
Yeah,
Okay, that makes.
really
Oh
hard.
yeah, he was
Barros.
really like so much damage.
Legolas.
His DPM was insane. Yeah, so I feel like all the players deserve it. Obviously, Perks, you know, when he pops off, he can like play really well. But same goes for every single one of these players. Yeah.
That's not that crazy.
in this
yet.
week,
It's like
right?
2 wins and 1 wins. What?
Two times in this week, right? The Lucian performance had to be MVP.
Oh, yesterday for Perks, it must have been. He was also robbed of a pentakill completely.
Yeah.
He was not really robbed there. I mean,
What?
we
It
tried to
was-
give it to him.
Yes,
Yeah, I mean,
but-
it was a bit like of a late dive, right?
No,
But
Ender explained it to me. It's apparently because between the 4th and the 5th kill, you get a bigger buffer, but it only triggers between the 4th and the 5th one, but not after the triple kill, which is what he took too much time to kill the 4th.
Well, sucks
person,
for him.
Basically, sucks for him, indeed. Well, whatever. Next Friday, though, the LEC returns with 5 more games, finishing with a huge clash between G2 and Rogue, and then G2 versus Fnatic. That's on Saturday, and that is the match of the week. Yamato, will G2 stay undefeated?
I think yes, honestly. I think yes. I think Rogue have shown that they're slightly weaker than everyone else. I've always questioned G2 on their weaknesses, but they seem to deliver over and over again. This week, I think your early game improved massively. Last week, it was a bit of a cocktail against Mad Lions. So I'm hopeful. If you guys are improving, then who can stop you?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Oh, clearly, we are the best. No, I mean, I think that early games have looked better. Because in the first week, we were just really... I felt like, especially in the first game against Mad Lions, we were playing really bad like mechanic. Like I flashed on blue buff, for example, and like Perix was like flashing in and waiting for Cannon 1 second, and he still got away with it and stuff. So I feel like we were like all rusty this week. All of us have, you know, stepped up their game. We also figured out the patch. We figured out the drafts. And, you know, next week is exactly the same. So I don't see a reason why we would get beaten by these teams.
Yeah.
Obviously, all you know, they are good teams, but I'm just saying that. No, G2.
And then in a bit, hopefully, you have some more power again in the jungle, and then... Ooh.
Oh my! Then there's no hope for Europe. Like G2 clearly favorites.
Okay.
But up until jungle is weak, we might lose some games.
Yeah, but
right? Because I
Sejuani
just
might
don't
come
have
back.
enough impact. Yeah, if Sejuani is back, then
Maybe Funnel, maybe Brom.
okay, you know what? I might just retire at this point. If all of this comes back, it's just over.
Please don't. You have unfinished business. Thank you so much for joining me. There is, of course, more League of Legends coming up as week 2 of the LCS kicks off in LA. And if you missed anything from the LEC, we'll have a rebroadcast for you after their last game. For us, though, it is time to call it a night. We'll be back next Friday for more action. See you then. Thank you, Jankos. Thank you, Yamato. And peace out, everyone.
Thank you. Honestly, I love being cocky because if you are cocky, then like people hate you after.
Just keep it simple. Okay, keep it simple. Okay, okay, when you're ready, when you're ready.
Drake, he has the black shield on as well, but keep your eyes on B-Boy, because here comes the onslaught. Patrick next on the list, but Dan coming in, that's a clutch barrel. Patrick, half his health instantly gone. The black shield buys him a bit more time, expecting the middle of everyone. He's going to try to suplex down. The RKO, not enough to take him to safety, but Tori and Patrick cannot get it done. The body slam, how much more time? The knockback, definitely not what Gilius wanted. Taking him out to safety, Amadage's left him. Humanoid, is he going to get the reset? Is this his highlight moment? You through, Gilius! But 1 for 1 in the end, that has to feel bad. And they might walk away with a few kills as well. Here comes a big bullet time. Flash into melee range of an Aatrox. Now that's a play with style. Well done, Carzzy.
Stormfall comes down, and now Genex is looking for the play. Hylissang uses a dredge line. The railgun manages to pick up the kill with the help of healing. Now they're knocked down. It's a double for Hylissang's Nautilus.
Talia, stop flash, no Talia,
nice.
Talia,
They're all dying. They're
Kill
trying to
Talia,
finish.
Talia.
Go Talia? I'm tanking them. I'm tanking them. Penta. Okay. No. I'm going dragon.
Perks is hunting
Perks
and
wants
running.
it.
He wants to make it happen. The feathers fly, and Upset is still not yet done. Calls the feathers. Upset at you, beauty! He gets away from the chains. Upset is in trouble. He's forced to use the ulti, forced to flash, goes golden, but Destiny's dead. Upset's caught behind enemy lines. It's 2 more kills. Undefeated, 4-0.
Hearing whispers in the night, voices filling up your mind. You're like a ghost of you. You've been drowning in the rain, slowly saving up the pain. So deep inside of you, see the colors of the sky slowly turn from black and white. A rising hope, bright as gold. And now there's nothing left to lose, so we're breaking all the rules. And they don't know what we know. From afar, a lightning in the dark. I can feel the fire come alive. So calm before the storm, so dark before the dawn. Oh, I can see the fire in your eyes. In your eyes. Oh, I can see the fire in your eyes. In your eyes. Oh, I can see the in your eyes. Oh, I can see the fire in your eyes. Now you'll never be the same once you felt that burning flame. You're chasing stars alive. What was broken's left behind. Watch it crumble in the light. Nothing can stop you now. See the colors of the sky slowly turn from black and white. Rising hope,